I'm going to try to buy one though. This is my goal. I'm going to talk about thy laws. We are having so since the Bruin decision, my head bounces back between theater, not theater, theater. Not really. Most of it's theater, right? Do I believe that everybody is playing a part in the theater? Probably not. There's probably just some dumb idiots that just fill a spot, and the show goes on around them. They're just there, filling a spot. And you don't need everybody to be in on a conspiracy for everybody to be in on a conspiracy. That makes sense. For instance, I could get Silas and a couple of other guys to go help me pick up, this old truck of mine, and we go get this old truck of mine, and really we were still in the truck. But they don't have to know that they're involved in that. We can orchestrate a situation where they will be willing to go, take part in, help, but not actually know what they're doing. That's probably what's really happening in the big scheme of things when it comes to our shit show government. So what you're now seeing, though, is a bunch of federal judges make good decisions on these gun cases. So there was a federal judge that just either overturned the conviction of or dismissed a federal case for a guy that, the cops raid the house for whatever reason. They find a machine gun in his house, and he faces 10 years in prison for that. To me, that's insanity. Our government should not have any weapon that you cannot own. Don't care what it is. Don't care. Is it an F-35? Don't care. Tank? M1 Abrams? Don't care. A nuclear bomb? Don't care. But for freedom, nuclear bombs can kill a lot of people. Yeah, so can water. I mean, how many people has what's it called? Beaver fever? Where the beaver shit in the water? Probably killed a lot of people. Salmonella? I don't think you get that in water though. But whatever. Still, I mean, it's objective. No. It's subjective. Subjective. Who decides? That's kind of what all it comes down to. But we're in a time right now where all these policies need to be challenged. But the bigger problem is that these policies shouldn't even exist. We are supposed to live in a country of very few laws. But when you put people in place that can create law that is then enforced by government enforcers, which is not supposed to be how it's supposed to be, what they will do is they will use that authority or that power, or whatever you want to call it, that fear, the fear tactics, to force you into doing what they want you to do. And that's what we've seen over the last 200 years. And hopefully it takes a step back. I mean, I try to be 100% pro freedom, and the only thing people want to catch me on, the gotcha, is the border thing. I definitely see a need for a border, but there's a reason for that. It's an economic reason. It's just, this is our culture, our country, and people, they destroy their country, and then they want to come here and do the same to ours. Want to eat ours up. Where's their tissue in the glove box? How fucking slow you want me to go, dude? I'm going 4 miles an hour. Goddamn. Sitting there waiting for me to slow down. I'm literally going 15. Is there tissue in there? Let me see your sleeve. I want to see your shirt, bro. You got me fucking tissue in here somewhere. But here, I got this. Watch this. Here's what we'll do. There's tissue right there. You get that on camera. But anyway, and that's the real issues that we've got so many laws in the books that there's no feasible way of ever challenging all these laws. And then you only got what? Like a small percentage chance of you coming out on top. But the real problem always comes back to what it's always come back to, and will always continue to come back to, which is the enforcement. When you have people that don't understand how things are supposed to be, but believe they do, you have a situation like you have today. I had an argument with somebody, a conversation with somebody the other day about tiny hat people. Not all of them, a certain group of them, and what they do in this world. And the person started laughing. She's like 70-something years old. Started laughing at me. I said, wait a second. I had a DeWalt drill sitting in front of me. I said, let's look at this DeWalt drill for a second. Because I know you're laughing. Let's say, I've used every drill there is to use, every cornice drill. Not every one, but I've used a lot of them. I've used Makita, DeWalt, Milwaukee, all the shit brands, and most of the good brands. And I can definitively say that this drill, which is not, DeWalt's not the best drill, is the best drill. Right? I was like, would you argue with me about that? Would you laugh at me about that if I said that? She's like, no. I'm like, well, why? She's like, because you've got more experience with it. I was like, but you're laughing at me about what I just told you. So thinking about that, how much research have you done into who runs this, who runs this, who owns this, who benefits from this? She's like, not very much. I'm like, but you're laughing at me when I said what I just said. So point being is that, people believe they know what they just don't most times, and that's why we're in so much fuckery. And the bigger problem you have, even bigger than that, is that we have systems in place for exponential growth. Meaning that when you have a percentage of the population that's dumb, call it at one time, call it 10%. When you put those systems in place to ensure that everybody survives, that dumbness multiplies exponentially. And so I'm sure, will things get better? Probably not. Like even that case is just for that guy, which is really weird because now that guy can own machine guns legally, and they'll keep busting his ass for it. But I would like to see somebody file lawsuits over shit that's never been filed, like even protection clause. How can cops own these things if I can? Where's the equal protection under the law? Doesn't exist. We know that. I know that. You know that. I would still like to see somebody bring the topic up, but you got to have money. Our courts are so fair, and for the people, you got to have $2 or $3 or $500,000 in order to take a case to the federal courts. I guess you could always raise the money and then buy like shitty clone Hellcats instead of spending money on attorneys. But anyway, or giving it to people that you raise it for. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I just suggest that everybody just, live your best life. You do you. Don't worry about thugs with guns. Criminals, until criminals are all treated equally, as long as we pretend there's this protected class that can create all these or commit all these criminal acts and it's legal, it's never going